Hi, everybody. Welcome to the channel. I'm Terry at Holding Your Space, and this is Reverend Sol.
Hey guys,
Nice to see you. Hi, Annie Bear. How are you, dear? So here we are today. It's Sunday, and we kind of surprised everybody. Thought we'd pop on, and George knew he would. I didn't, so he called me today to let me know. And so George, you were kind of having some feelings about some stuff going on, right?
I was feeling that you were going to have some folks tuning in with that were feeling tense with issues. When you got teeth grinding situations, for me, picking up on folks that have dealing with a lot of stress and need some solutions. So I'm open to assist in that regard with the assistance of the Ascended Masters, particularly Saint Germain today.
That's awesome. So the minute you started talking about some ascended masters, I don't know about anybody else, but my ears started ringing. The pitch went up.
Yes.
Yeah. So, so when this comes up, and it comes up so often right now, I feel like, I don't know if it's fear of the unknown or, just the energy on the planet, uh, that can cause this. But is there something that you suggest that we do on our own on a regular basis?
Well, there is if you're in deep fear, I from a masculine point of view, that concept that thought form becomes a target, and it's in my space. So what I can do is to transmute the fear, and using uh, the methods that we've been taught by the extraterrestrial earthlings. It's about, and I can only do it this way. I'll do it for you once. I am transmute Omti Jati, which activates the process. I am transmuting fear. This next word is very important. With Omti Jati again, Shona, which is purple, activate. Omti Jati means activate. The purple light, the purple Vajra Patam, which is lightning. So you're going to electrocute this thought form. And then with that, you have a vibrational frequency number. At what frequency are you going to electrocute that thought form of fear? We'll use a divine number times 909 to the 909. Make it easy. 909 to the 909. So if you think about, if you listen to what I had to say and you follow the process, think about how much fear you have now versus before we did the mantra. And we'll do it again.
Okay.
Here we go one more time.
Okay.
Om Tijati.
Om Tijati.
I
I am
transmuting fear
transmuting fear
with,
with
here's the power, Om Tijati,
Om Tijati,
Shona,
Shona,
Vajra,
Vajra,
Patam,
Padam,
Vajra, Patam,
Vajra Patam,
Vajra, Patam,
Vajra Patam,
times 909
times 909
to the 909,
to the 909,
times 909 to the 909.
times 909 to the 909,
One more time, times 909 to the 909.
times 909 to the 909.
You want to do it at least 3 times. That activates the power. or 6 or 9 times. Allows you to get deeper into that force. So there should be a change of energy that you're experiencing. Now, you may not be able to explain what it is, but that is the literal execution of that thought form using your God-given electrical thunderbolts, which is the Vajrapatam.
Vajrapatam. And everybody will be very happy to know that George is almost done with his book. So
Yes, we're almost there. We're putting page numbers on. I see something on the screen. I had the clear dream.
yeah, anywhere. I had the clearest dream night before last. I leaned into the shoulder of a guide and relaxed more than I ever remember.
It is a root guru, we call it.
Hmm.
And yes, it's very, very important because a lot of root gurus, your gurus will work in the dream state because of the state of your consciousness and your willingness to remember in that state. In fact, I received the teachings of balancing, starting a meditation practice, always balancing, which we didn't do this session, but
Oh,
we'll
that's
do
fine.
it in just a minute. But always listening to what that, or getting the sign message as to what that teacher has to teach you. We have a form, a practice that you can try. If you remember what your teacher looks like, go into meditation, turn on your favorite music, and see your root guru standing on the crown of your head, slowly rotating, with you waiting to receive the message purposely in your wakeful state. Just envision, and you have the power to envision that teacher on the crown of your top of your head. And there's a message there for you.
So they say we only use what 4% of our brains,
Yeah,
and
right.
yeah, and so we know so much more than we really know, right? Or we think we know.
Well, we know a lot. It's just having access to it and getting your lower brain, your I brain, up to speed with your I am brain. And there's two different frequency levels there. One is just normal human being frequency. The other one is your super genius frequency, your spiritual genius frequency, which is your higher self, your other brain. Remember that you're not alone in this spacesuit. The I came with the body. That's the I brain. Then there's the etheric brain, your higher self that knows everything. That's the I am. Then positioned between the throat chakra and the heart chakra, I am that I am brain. So there's three brains functioning in this one spacesuit. It's about the teamwork makes your dream work. Work with your other brains, work with the I am, work with your I am that I am. If you're into numbers, there's one, there's the I. If it's I am, it's the I, it's your higher self, which can be reached by the number Omti Jati 81. Activate the 81st chakra. That's your I am self, your higher self. Located about maybe 18 feet above your crown. Then there's the I am that I am, which is right here within. And it is, go ahead.
What color are those chakras? Is that golden?
It depends upon the viewer. I've noticed that it depends upon the conscious state of the individual who is connecting with the divine as to what color that chakra will turn. It can go anywhere between gold and lemon yellow to white.
Wow, that's beautiful. And he says, I'm experimenting with all energies, go through my spirit team when it comes to interactions. What are your thoughts on this?
Experimentation is good. Go slow, be careful. Always keep your duram at your side. If the vibrations get to be too much, dial them down. Because this is not a toy. This is about your ability to turn on your supernatural powers, and they're nothing to be trifled with.
I love that. Yeah. And then let's see. Hershey. Hi, honey. How are you? Good to see you here.
Hi
And
there.
Hershey had something wonderful. She had a great question. Maybe that has a question. Go ahead and throw it in there and we'll get to it. George, I had a dream and I met my higher self. Is that my true doppelganger? And is this good or bad?
No, that's not your doppelganger. Your doppelganger is your duplicate. Okay, your doppelgangers exist in other dimensions. Sometimes you may have the opportunity of a doppelganger or you visiting their dimension or one of, vice versa. But your doppelganger is a duplicate, usually residing in another dimension. And if he happens to get here, it's just happenstance. There is a portal someplace that door open for you to realize that you're not alone in terms of a duplicate. And the thing about the doppelganger, it allows you, if you're in the mode of doing readings, to be able to look into the future because you have a doppelganger that was created before you were this duplicate, or look into the past because you have a doppelganger that's still in the past. You in the middle can connect with either one of these doppelgangers to see what's going on in the future or in the past. That's how it works.
And that's the secret of time travel, yeah?
Yeah.
I've been shown in visions and dreams that, going in a clockwise manner, we can go forward, and going in a counterclockwise manner, we can go into our past. Is
Yes.
this just a construct, or is this the way energy flows like that?
Well, this is the way that we have created it. We have this marvelous thing known as the human mind that's just off the chart in terms of its paranormal ability. It's we were truly made in the duplicate image of the Supreme Being. We're known as the marginal potency, Ashmi Tatasta Shakti, which means I am the marginal potency of the divine. The divine, if you could measure the supremest being, is 9 inches tall and it powers everything 9 inches tall. Imagine powering multiverses. We, as the potency of the divine, we're about the size of a pinhead powering this gigantic body. That's how big we are, but powerful. We're we're ourselves a brain cell of the supremest being.
Well, that's a whole new lesson in humility, right? Thinking of the creator as 9 inches tall
Yeah,
and being humble. Yeah.
it's it's in everything. It's in
Yeah.
everything, and you can connect with it. If you want to connect with the divine in the universe, just put your hands up and just think, I'm going to be sensitive right now. And slowly, there's a field of energy right in front of you. As you move through it, you should be able to feel the changes in energy as you move through this fabric of space. You go very slowly. You'll go in and out of fields of energy because these forces are everywhere. It's in the shape of a beehive, bee cave. It's hexagonal in shape. It's known as the Brahma Jyoti. Om Tijati. Notice what happens when you literally call on the power of the Brahma Jyoti. Follow my lead. Om Tijati.
Om Tijati,
Brahma Jyoti Shakti
Brahma Jyoti Shati,
times 909 to the 909.
times 909 to the 909.
So when you said that, you should have felt the resonance of saying those 909s in your fingertips. True?
Kind of pushed me back a little bit there. That was a
Yeah,
lot coming in.
yeah, exactly. And everybody's doing it. So there's a major force of that.
Yeah.
You can turn it on yourself and go preem, 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 love,
Preem,
love,
preem,
love,
preem.
and feed love to you yourself. Preem.
Preem.
Om Tijati
Om
Preem.
Tijati
To the
Preem.
909.
To the 909.
So that's feeding love to yourself.
That's so important right now, right?
Yeah.
Feeding love to ourselves.
Because we're being bombarded by that which is anti-love.
By what?
Anti-love.
Right? That's a good way of putting it, anti-love, because I don't like saying destructive or negative. Anti-love, I think, is an excellent way of putting it. I like that.
Yes.
Annie Bear says, oh, go ahead. Sorry. Annie Bear
Okay.
says, oh.
Well, we have spirits here moving stuff, not stuff.
We were talking about that before we got on today. We'll get to that maybe later. Yes, this experiment I'm doing is a way to honor our agreement for me to acknowledge who I am, like wherever I am, we are.
Yes, we
Beautiful.
are. There you go.
Beautiful, Annie.
And the more
Love
you
that.
work as a team, Annie, for all of us, even myself, recognizing those other voices. There's two other voices in here. Now it's time to, let me listen to the voice of my higher self because it doesn't match what's going on out of this thing. That's how you know, or you're saying stuff that you would normally say. That's usually your higher self or the I am that I am that's speaking. Usually the I am that I am will say, George, son, it's serious. But the higher self says funny stuff that I would normally say.
Okay, Hershey asks, how would I know the difference, George? Because in her dream, she said she was my higher self, my true doppelganger.
Well,
So is that just a construct of
that's a
her?
construct. Yes,
Yeah,
that's a construct. That's
to describe.
to describe, yes. And it's okay. In reality, your higher self preceded your I. It it came it came in several different possible ways, either in seminal injection or immaculate conception, or the higher self is a walk-in. The body is already on the planet, and the higher self walks in and becomes that higher self or that body, that person, or through the process of self-replication, like the reptilians do. The reptiles can reproduce themselves because they're both female and male. So those are the four ways that the higher self can come into a physical body.
Wow. So, so, that is interesting. So, Hershey, by saying that construct, is just a way that they're giving it to her, right?
Right,
So that she can understand it
how she
for
can
her brain.
process it. But understand, as we speak, you are rising in your level of intelligence, and you're adding new protons and neurons in there, and your mind is expanding, which is what we're all about in this day and age right now. That's why we're becoming more sensitive to the fact that the veils are lifting, and that we're getting more divine energy in and around ourselves, because we call for it, and because it's where we're at, literally, physically, in our cycle around this particular galaxy.
Hi, Teresa. Teresa says, I don't feel the connection. Do I start by just repeating that, the mantra?
Well, yes. It's the process. It's the code of how to do the mantra. First, there is, and it's quite simple. It has a beginning. That beginning is Om Tijati, which means activate. It is a universal activation carrier wave to turn on your mantras. So start with Om Tijati. Notice how you feel. Now let's do the bliss mantra. Nirvana,
Nirvana,
Shakti,
Shakti,
Preem,
Preem.
times 909 to the 909th power. Om Tijati Nirvana Shakti Preem, times 909 to the 909th power. Om Tijati Nirvana Shakti Preem, times 909 to the 909th power. How do you feel?
Times 909 to the 909 power?
Yes. Have you got a connection yet? It could be gross, it could be subtle. But usually it's light joyousness, particularly when you're dealing with nirvana.
Yeah. So it would be great to have also a recording of you doing all these
Sure.
with your book and audio
Sure.
concept, because it is hard. And I, Teresa, I try to write them down and post them, but I'm not always good about that. I'm pretty bad
Well,
about it.
the one we should do right
scared.
now is to balance. We should start every meditation in balancing. In this palm, there is an acupressure point that relates to the heart. Same in this palm, okay? And we're going, but it also connects to the left and right brain. So we have to balance the left and right brain with the higher self and the holy self. So here we go. Om Tijati,
Om Tijati,
Tula Tula Tula,
Tula Tula Tula,
Preem. Let's put some
Preem.
love in. Reverse. Om Tijati,
Om Tijati,
Tula Tula Tula,
Tula Tula Tula,
Preem.
Preem.
Then bring them both together for balance. Om
Om
Tijati,
Tijati,
Tula Tula
Tula Tula
Tula,
Tula,
Preem.
Preem.
Now just relax a minute and focus and notice how the balancing works for your system. Notice the nature of balancing your system. This is an exercise in knowing yourself. Know thyself.
Yeah.
And disconnect.
When we
And you,
disconnect, I like to kind of play with that energy.
yeah, play with it.
Because
Exactly.
it feels so good, doesn't it? It's palpable. Yeah.
You can mold it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I love that. Okay. Oh, Annie Bear, that's a great way to put it. Did Hershey higher self use the words and concepts in Hershey's library, so to speak? That is exactly right. Excellent. Excellent. Hershey says she's definitely paying attention. Hey, Gina, how are you? Gina M is here. Teresa, I feel those spots on my hands, but I didn't know what it meant. Yeah, Teresa. So George has a field book that he's writing with these mantras, and that's kind of your gig right now, right? That's your joy, the mantras.
I've been studying them for, well, ardently 33 years. This is my 33rd year studying, testing mantras. I knew I was in the hundreds. I don't know if I'm even in the thousands. I have logged them in a computer, and the computer died. So we're getting hundreds and hundreds. But some of them work, some of them don't. All mantras are not equal, particularly based upon the individual's vibration. But you have to test them to know what's good for you. And sometimes a mantra may not sound good for you in the beginning, but you hear it the second time and it trips your trigger and gets you aligned with one of your spiritual powers or the other. Now remember, your spiritual powers won't normally get you into heaven. It's devotion and the ability to remember to say whatever word you use for the supremest being, the time that you leave your body, say that, and that's your ticket. Just that simple.
Many um, um, religions or spiritual paths talk about this, the walking from this body into the light, and what it looks like. Even Cash Peters, often, if you'll watch, he is a reader from the UK, and he draws pictures of this and people's constructs when they come in. And Teresa, you'll just have to watch 100 times. Honey, I'm with you. And it is to get our brain to remember, right?
Yeah.
Because it connects a neural pathway while we're talking, George, but then often I'm like, I have to watch you again to click it back on, I feel like.
Well, you have to give it time to, you have a lot of stuff in there. You got to give it time to come up to your consciousness.
Oh, now that makes perfect sense.
You forget absolutely nothing. Everything is in there. Give it time to come up, particularly if you're asking questions to the higher self. Sometimes you'll get an immediate answer. Sometimes it'll take at least 60 seconds. And 60 seconds sometimes seems like a long time, but have patience.
Yeah, I need to write them down too. Oh, good. Gerald's here and Tom's here. Everybody's coming in. Nice to see you, everybody.
I'll tell you a
Yeah.
little story. This is the house that I'm in now is my mom and dad's forever home. They have since left the body, but they're still here in the forever home. In the beginning, I came out to take care of them at my dad's request because he was caretaker for my mom and he couldn't take care of himself. So of course I was next in line to take care of both of them. Well, they both wanted to pass here, which they did. 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, several months after my mom had passed, my dad had passed in 2002. I hear my mom saying, she called me Junior, and she called my dad George, delineate between the two of us. 2 o'clock in the morning, this is the way my mom called my dad George. George, where are you? We woke up, I'm going, okay. Am I dreaming? And then it happened again. George, with emphasis, where are you? Come here. There was no doubt it was my mom. So at that time, my deceased wife, I said, did you hear that? She says, yes, I heard that. Since then, there is another side. They're alive and well over there in their own dimension. And they come back, particularly if there's a golf tournament, because they used to love to sit and watch golf together. And the golf tournaments were this weekend. Well, before we started fishing, there was one of my ball caps, the cats had knocked on the floor where my mom had died. and I resuscitated her. But that's also where she sat to watch the golf on TV. Well, my golf cap started moving. So I think she was trying to pick it up or something. I don't know. But they come and go. They're alive and well on the other side. You can tell your relatives they're okay. They're just in another dimension, and it's a beautiful dimension. That if they decide to stay here, it's a beautiful dimension. If not, the heavenly dimensions is great. It's great vacation time. If you say the name is Great Spirit, you may not have to come back again.
Wow. I love it.
Unless you want to come back to help, try to get these people from suffering.
Teresa, we're all awakening here, and you're exactly where you're supposed to be. I think that's one thing that really sets my mind at ease, is that I know that we're always exactly where we're supposed to be.
Well, to get a higher vibration, you just have to amp up your kundalini's chakras, which we can do. Where will we be able to purchase your wonderful book? Let me tell you, I'm putting page numbers on it as we speak. I was so happy yesterday when I finished the narrative. In the typo errors, I would say I will be complete before July. I'm going to read it a couple more times before I put it out.
That's awesome. I can't wait.
I'll let you know. In fact, if you want, I will send you anybody that wants a little brief. It's 5 mantras that you should say in the morning. Email me, and I'll email you back those mantras just to give you a little taste of what the book's like.
Oh, I'd love that. I'll post George's information here in 1 second. Pamela is here. Hello, beautiful Pamela. And she says, "Why am I clairvoyantly smelling roses, George?"
Because it's one of your relatives that are carrying roses around you, and they want you to be aware that they are there trying to connect with you. Which one of your relatives is on the other side that loves roses? Female. And why? Because you're clairvoyant. Well, you're clairvoyant.
She's very clairvoyant.
That's why you came with it. You came on the planet with that gift.
Sorry about that, guys. That's my family doing a Sunday call here. If I can find my phone. Oh, there it is. There we go. Okay. That's spirit calling in. Mom and dad probably too. We usually do a Sunday call in our family. So, Pamela says she smelled the roses after doing the mantra. Would that be blossoming like a lotus blossom too?
Oh, yes, any of the above, but I'm sensing that she's dealing with someone on the other side in contact with her, and that's the key there, the visual and the smell. When you smell it, they're present. It's a way of talks to ghosts, as the Indians would say, through the flowers.
Yeah. I love that. My grandmother loved roses too.
Yeah, and think of the ramifications of the rose, the passion and love. It's one thing that we definitely need, that red love.
And the divine feminine, right?
The divine feminine, exactly.
Yeah. Crown of roses.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. So that's good insert into talking to our relatives that have passed or our loved ones, and talking to our guides and our angels. So, in archetypes. So,
We are clairvoyant. All of us are.
yeah,
It's just, do we slow down to listen? That's the thing. We want to hear ourselves versus listening to others. It's like your name. You'll tell somebody wants to give you their name. You want to give them your name, then you forget their name because you weren't listening so much to give them your name. So we got to listen, particularly to spirit. When those signals come up, that's when you stop and go, okay, Mom, is that you? Aunt Lucy, is that you? Sister Hattie, is that you? What message do you have for me from the other side? Someone
yeah,
could be pining because that person is gone. They think they're gone forever, but in actuality, they're not. So you don't have to pine anymore. No more grief. They're fine. No more suffering.
Annie Bear says, I read a saying once in a spiritual astrology book about the rose blooming means you're living your heart way.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful, Annie.
Yes.
Yeah. Hershey sent you an email.
Okay.
She says, thank you. And Pamela, you've been ignoring spirit on purpose lately, so this was relative. Thank you. Pamela, honey, I'm with you. There have been those times that when my husband first passed, he just wouldn't leave me alone. And I just had to finally tell him, get out of here for a while. I'm done. Need some rest. Yeah. Yeah, right. I love it, Annie Bear. Yeah. So spirit has a real sense of humor. I don't know how many of you guys will go to a funeral and all of a sudden you're hearing all the jokes going on by spirit while they're there because they're having a party and everybody else is down here being sad and praying. And and it's a big celebration there. Right. I say it there, but it's all
Yeah,
relative, isn't it? That's my construct.
except in New Orleans.
Oh.
When you go, they party hardy.
That's right. They have the big parade and the
Yeah,
music,
celebration.
and
Yeah.
that's the way it ought to be, right?
Yes.
So
That's
I've
what it ought to
heard
be.
I've heard on the other side that they instead of celebrating the birthday more, they celebrate the anniversary of the passing of dropping the body.
Mm-hmm.
That's an important day for them.
What's important, I think, and I've seen it happen, uh, individuals out of the grave, at the graveyard, talking with each other, waiting for Christ to come, waiting for the second coming. It's legit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's just where they're at. And he's going to come for Christians, Lord, Christ, for the Buddhists, it'll be Maitreya, you know. And he usually comes when the planet is in trouble like it is right now.
Yeah.
But
Do you think
go ahead.
do you think that we'll have another Christ coming in, that he'll do a walk-in or come in, is already incarnated right now?
Maitreya, yes. There's another Buddha that's due. But in terms of the Christ consciousness, it's being carried out by the light workers that we are.
It's everywhere.
Yeah,
I got
that's
a
our
big
that's our
tingle.
job now.
Yeah.
That's our job to carry on Christ consciousness. And we have help because the Christ consciousness understand who Christ is. He is the original creator of this universe, of all shamans. that picture just went out, but I'll say it again, he is the creator of this universe, the shaman of all shamans, made everything still alive, aka known as, in the Vedas, known as Brahma, but it's actually Christ. And Christ is actually Brahma, the only begotten Son. He's done that several times. He is Vishnu's only begotten Son, Immaculate Conception. Surprise, surprise, surprise.
That's so powerful, isn't it?
Oh, yes, to know that he created everything material, including these spacesuits. This is phenomenal. What this is capable of doing. The fact that we're even here is breathtaking.
Yeah. It is amazing, isn't it? I'm sorry, Pamela. I know my late husband visits Pamela and she sends me messages all the time. She's a medium. So I apologize. You can send him on his way. He's been talking to me a little bit, but I'm not listening all the time. Annie Bear, I recently sensed joys, like instant tears in my eyes because they are overjoyed when we listen and acknowledge them, our guides and angels.
They're there to relieve you of societal PTSD. And there is an angelic mantra, Om Tijati, 33 trillion angels of divine light, shining bright, day and night, beaming deep, deep, deep purple light, times 909 to the 909.
Oh. Is that going to be on our list of things that you're sending out?
No, not that one. That's in the book.
Okay.
Several of those. It depends upon the color that you like.
Wow. That's
But,
beautiful. I love
but
that.
it is. The angelic prose are for, they're there and they will come to you specifically for relieving you of whatever level PTSD that you may be suffering from. And right now, it's from all of these shootings. That affects the mass consciousness.
Yeah.
So, to relieve you of that consciousness, just call on 33 trillion angels of purple light shining bright, day and night, beaming, purple light, shining bright, day and night, deep, deep purple light, times 909 to the 909, which is kilohertz, what that means.
Wow. Pamela, when she's in New Orleans, it's such an experience for me. So many lost souls there. Christ is always present above me. That's excellent, Pamela.
Yep.
That's the way to do it. Walk with Christ, walk with all your angels. What is it? 3 trillion angels?
33 trillion angels.
Oh, got that wrong.
There's a few more. Yeah, 33 trill.
Wow. That is amazing. Um, oh, go ahead.
Sometimes you can hear the rustle of their wings. It's not your imagination. If you call on them, they'll let you know by just rustling around. If you don't have much for them to do, be sure to give them something to do.
So that's something that somebody told me. A friend of mine had taken a class on working with people that had passed, and that's one thing that she'd gotten out of it that she told me about that I've really been conscious of is giving our loved ones something to do that are on the other side, and giving them chores, like if you need help with your child or if you need financial help, but it's just a great way to direct energy, isn't it? Because the universe is going to give us energy.
Yeah. The essence of that individual is, as the Buddhists would say, a no thing without a body. But there's something there, and it's a higher level consciousness. Sometimes the ego consciousness is evolved with it, and the ego goes with the higher consciousness to become part of the higher consciousness. That's possible too. That's the goal of ascension for all of us who are I consciousness, to ascend with our high am self.
Yeah. Yeah. So Annie Bear wants to channel mother energy. She's been underestimated far too long. Yeah.
Vasudhara is the Tibetan name for the Divine Mother of Prosperity. Om Tijati Vasudhara
Vasudhara. That's
Shakti
beautiful.
Chi. Vasudhara Shakti, which is feminine power. And then times 909 to the 909. That's the frequency value of the mantra.
It's the
That's what,
Maserati mantra, isn't it?
yeah, that's the
909 to the
Maserati.
909.
That's 909 is fast. Mm-hmm.
I'll put you in hyperdrive.
Yes, yes. Remember Duram if you get too high. Duram, Duram, Duram. Well, hello.
Oh,
This
is that
is
Mr. Handsome?
this is Mr. Handsome, and he tuned in to
Oh,
say hello. Everybody was concerned about you, buddy.
hi, Mr. Handsome.
He is he's an old, literally, he's a very old soul. And when the vibes are good, he ends up in here in the meditation room. We have one student that because of COVID, he wasn't able to come over, and this guy would hear him do his classes on Skype, and he'd be in here just wondering where he was. His name is Kai, but he's been at it for, we've been together for about 20 years, would you believe?
Wow.
Yeah,
I think I met him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, at the park.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. He's amazing.
he is. He's almost venturing out on his own. He's going to start doing his teachings, and he is a server and moving to Lawrence, Kansas. He has been drawn to Lawrence as a hot energy, spiritual energy spot.
I think Lawrence is amazing. That's right by so I still need to take you to Harmony Farms sometime. A friend of ours has a farm there, and I think I've told you about him. He's created these meditation centers all over the farm and
Wow.
chakras. And yeah, and he does sound healing. I think you guys will chat for hours. Gigi, hello, beautiful Gigi. She asks, how long do we have to wait for your book? And is your schedule for reading? Oh,
Sure, I'll do a reading, Gigi. I'm looking. I'm gonna make every effort to have it ready to ship by the 1st of July, if not before then.
wow.
Like I said, I don't have that much to do, but I got to be able to make it easy for you to find the necessary mantras that you want to hold on to. So everything has to be, all those still have to be labeled, but the bulk of it is done. Thank goodness. And I'm guarding it because we have had instances where dark forces were trying to destroy it, literally. And if it wasn't for my son, we would have to rescue the whole project. And it was a mantra for repelling demonic forces.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
Durham?
Huh?
Durham?
Well, no, Duram is for turning down the volume if it's
Oh,
too
that's
much
right.
for you. It, believe it or not, one of and there's several, but one of the primary dark forces repel mantra is the Lord's Prayer.
What about the Hail Mary?
That's for preservation of the species,
Okay.
preservation of the spirit, consciousness of the spirit. Some folks whack everything goes black because it's programmed to go black, turn computers off. But some know.
Pamela says, Mr. Handsome is your protector.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
If there was a cat that didn't have a voice that goes meow, that's about as loud as he gets. And when he's in distress, for some reason, I can hear him in distress. When he gets places he's not supposed to be. I love them, cat people. They're one of the first races that came to visit planet Earth.
The Lyrans.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a couple that hang around sometimes here.
Yeah. And then the Bigfeet, leave those guys alone. They're the Valarians. That's the name of the race. They've been on the planet for eons. They were here as Rama's allies. And then you have the bear people. They're the Jambavans. But the big feet, not foot. They've got more than one foot. The big feet. They're Valarians. That's the name of the tribal race. Ancient tribe. They don't fly. They jump. So there'll be an earthquake when they jump. They can jump from one mountain to the other like that. That's the nature of the beast.
Wow. So, yeah, when you're talking, I mean, there have been orbs all around you all day, especially when you're talking about your parents, but really a lot of orbs when you started talking about the Valerians.
Yes.
Does that have anything to do with the Valerian root? Isn't that that's they use that for something.
It might have. It might. I got a feeling there is a story, and it's a true story. Now that we know that myth can become fact, there was a plague during Rama's time, and Rama sent his devotee, Hanuman, the Valerian, to get the herbs off of this healing mountain. Okay? So Hanuman did a jumped to this mountain in the Himalayas, found the mountain. It was blooming with all of these healing herbs, but he couldn't figure out how to get them back. So what he did, because of his strength and because he was a shapeshifter, he uprooted the entire mountain and brought it back, smoking, and everybody was healed. Now that may sound like myth, but that's probably where the Valerian root came from.
Wow.
Yeah.
That means a lot.
The Ramayana by William Buck is worthy of reading by anybody. It's the most wonderful love story that I've ever read in regards to the nature of the supremest being, one of its incarnations. William Buck, University of California Press, Ramayana.
I just wrote it down. I'll put it in the thing here.
From Egypt, crossed over by gold pyramid tops. Oh, well, those are Vimanas. Those are one of the later model Vimanas, space planes.
And then Pamela says, "I'm being shown the mountaintop with the gold triangle shining in the sun."
The triangle is divinity symbolized.
Wow.
It has a force in every angle. The forces of the triangle coming from zero and add them in linear progression. It turns on the chakra. You want to turn on, we ought to turn on everybody's.
Oh, yeah. We need to turn on everybody's chakra. Let's just get one more question in here. Gerald's asking, question, why do you think New Orleans is so active with spirits?
Because they're partying. I mean,
Oh,
for when you next time you go down, there's a way to activate your seven eyes. We don't have just three; we have seven eyes. And if you want to see below what's going on below New Orleans, on the etheric level, is partying, and you can see that with the eyes in the bottom of your feet. You got two of them. Then there's also, you can see with the eyes in the palm of your hands. You got two of those. Total of seven eyes. The activation is Om Tijati, activate times 9 to the 63rd power. The eyes are located at 63rd, 63 degrees. They turn on all seven of them. Then when you go down there, just say activate times 9 to the 63rd power and expect to see what's going on above, below, to your left, to your right. Don't be amazed. Just take it for granted what you see.
Hypnicity asks, are they trapped souls stuck between two worlds, do you think?
Oh, it's more than trapped souls. It's soul. It's wall to wall souls everywhere.
Yeah, there are some places that I visit that I just can't. It's too thick.
Paris catacombs.
I can only imagine. Yeah, we went to the there's a stupa in Kathmandu where they burn the bodies, and it's a big ceremony, like it's a big party. And the monks there, that's what they do is they cremate them, and the whole family stays with them. And then at the end, it's right on the river, on a sacred river, and they brush off all the embers into the river. So it's that circle of life. And
Yes.
that actually felt okay. I don't know why. Maybe there was that purification there with fire involved, but
Yeah, it is. Um, in fact, my dad, which was surprising as a military man, he chose, but he was also psychic, and he also chose to be one of his hobbies is yoga, which surprised me when I went through his stuff. I found his yoga charts, and he was a military guy all of his life, you know. But he chose to be cremated, and then when my mom passed, he chose her to be cremated, and then had her remains placed above his at the gravesite in Leavenworth Cemetery, Army Cemetery in Leavenworth, Kansas. So that was the military way. In fact, when he passed away, he says, "I'm not here. I'm not here. Don't grieve. I'm back at the house."
that's
Yes,
what
you're right.
my mom always said, don't come out there to the cemetery to look for me because I'm not going to be there. Yeah, so Annie Bear is indigenous, and she says, our people are always here. We will always be here as Earth wills it.
Yes.
Yeah, Annie Bear, I believe so too, and I believe I know that because I feel it. I mean, there's definitely that energy here on the land that my house sits on, and it's we had a long talk about that one day, didn't we, George?
Yes.
The energy
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
You never
Um,
know who lived on that land before you did.
mhm.
It's good
Yeah.
to know.
Yeah. And it's quite old. Um, Somebody else said something. Oh, Pamela said lost souls. So let's talk about that idea of lost souls. And then we'll do our energy healing because we'll need it.
Well, it varies. For example, a perfect example of is bomb takes out whole housing complex full of children instantaneously. No preparation. Whack, all goes black. Souls end up in the ocean of space. Angels go out looking for these souls, find them because they are glowing in the blackness, and escort them to the heavenly realms, the borders of the heavenly realms, which is on the other side of the universe, and get them back home. Those are lost souls.
Azrael.
Yeah, it's a real deal.
Yeah.
And it's happening. There are efforts to recover these lost souls. Then there's some that go directly there because of guardian angels. They had a contract. You see, your higher self knows all, past, present, and future. That's just how good you guys are.
That's another whole show, isn't it? Because
Yes.
and that's one that Pamela and I talk about a lot too, because we're involved in that sometimes. Um, Gerald at Tarot Stash, everybody please like and subscribe to him. And hi, Richie. Sometimes I have to reset my visual and audio senses when there is a lot of activity. And sometimes I turn up the volume because I like it. It is so interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. I have concerns about everybody in regards to overcharging. It's very important that you go slow and allow your ego brain to catch up with the higher vibrations that your higher self already possesses. And it's a slow process. If not, you don't want to burn out any brain cells. You don't want to be tranced out. You don't want to end up in a mental home. So you go slow. If you do, when you see the book, there's one mantra there that activates super brain. Only one repetition a day. Do not exceed that. If don't exceed 2 repetitions a day as you amp up your higher self to merge with your lower self. And you do
Yeah.
that for 90 days before you move on to 3 reps. That's how powerful this thing can be. But the end result is that you realize your divinity and the nirvana, the bliss of being in your divine state of consciousness while you're here doing your thing on planet Earth in sanity and balance. We're all geniuses and we all have something genius to do.
Yeah.
So we exercise like we're 100-pound weaklings trying to pick up 1,000-pound weight. But we will get to that point where we can pick up that 1,000-pound weights if we practice diligently
Yeah.
and watch our backs, each other's backs, not get overcharged. Doesn't do anybody any good.
Right. I think, and for me also, I feel that because sometimes you'll get that download and
Mm-hmm.
it's a major power rush. Like your
Yeah,
body's just like, whoa,
yeah,
you know, but we need to take time to let that acclimate into the
yeah.
physical form and into the human brain and kind of be really gentle with ourselves with that.
Well, notice
Um,
notice that the Nirvana mantra does that, and know that in terms of where your gurus are, to be in a happy peace state means that you have succeeded.
Nice. I
Now
love
it's
that.
maintaining that happy peace state as long as you're in this body and thereafter.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah, if there's any confusion about when we went right from indigenous people of the land and souls that were here as caretakers and guardians into lost souls. So that was a cutoff right there. The lost souls, that was a completely different
Yeah.
question and a completely different program going on, spiritual program, if you may. Because I really feel like that's part of their teachings and part of the like I know that the entity that's here on my land is like working with Gaia
Mm-hmm.
and caretaking and like really powerful, beautiful energy. So it's an honor.
Yes.
Um, yeah.
You're
And then,
lucky.
yeah.
Yeah, you're very lucky. That's one of the drawbacks of being in body not is being programmed to be possessive. That's not something that we're growing. That's part of our nature, but that's part of our programming to possess. And it carries into a lot of different things as we progress in age.
Cat Mama wants me to ask you about your cats.
Yes, they're cool. uh, Mr. Hanson is an old soul. He found me. I have a back porch which is adjacent to my kitchen sink. And I saw a gray streak go by the window, and I'm going. I thought there was a squirrel out there because it was a little bitty thing. I said, "Well, a squirrel stuck on the back porch." Shows up again, and here's this little kitten. So he found me. We found each other. He's been here ever since. And he sits at the meditation altar, and we do meditations together. And he comes in when folks have their class sessions.
Pamela says you always ring her bowl of sound. I actually see the Buddhist monks in the temple in Tibet and bowls ringing. Aw.
You're astral traveling. That's wonderful.
That was another thing we were going to talk about today, but we're already running out of time. We got to get these chakras cleansed, you guys, and work on
Okay.
them.
Okay. Wait a minute.
Ah, that's so sweet, Cat Mama. Yeah, my cat adopted us too. Well, we had to go get him, but he came from 100 miles away to 4 blocks away before we got him.
Mm. Okay. There are 24 chakras, 12 above the spine, 12 below the spine, contrary to popular belief. There is one mantra that will activate all 24 simultaneously. It goes Om Tijati, activate. The word is TAT hyphen TVAH, Tattva, Tattva,
TAVTH.
no, TAT hyphen TVAH, Tattva, chakras times 18 to the 144, and just let it happen. Third time is a charm. Om Tijati Tattva chakras times 18 to the 144. Third rep, here we go. Om Tijati
Janti,
Tattva
Kantava,
chakras
chakras,
times
times 8,
18 to the 144.
144.
How you feeling?
Wow. Like totally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tula, 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 just to make sure they're all in balance.
Tula, tula, tula.
Hmm. I feel this in my thighs and in my from here up. Different folks will feel different things. We're not all equal. We have different sensors, so trust your sensors to know when you have activated your entire Kundalini system. And where you're feeling that coolness in is probably where you are requiring energy, and it's happening there.
Yeah, my ankles are getting it. Oh, Richie, your ankles got it too.
Yeah,
Yeah. Feet.
I
Yeah.
have from a car accident, I have a weak left hip, and it's being strengthened as we speak.
Yeah. That's beautiful. And it's 1:11. Oh,
Yeah.
that's how long we've been on. It's 1:41.
It's been a
Perfect
pleasure,
timing.
folks. I love you guys.
Yeah. Oh, so I guess we're gonna go, but and I need to because Reverend Sol his voice was already going before he got on today. So I promised him we wouldn't be too long. So that was incredible. Feel free to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And any readers that are here, please like and subscribe to all of them. Gerald and Tom and Tarot Stash and Tarot Your Way. And Pamela has, oh, and Annie Bear. Annie Bear is here too. And Cat Mama Meow. So, yeah,
Yeah, just email me if you want a morning meditation. I'll send it to you.
yeah. So, and I'll put this in the comments too, so you can go back later and get it if you can't get it now. So,
Okay.
namaste, everybody. Were you going to say something, George?
Tula, tula, tula.
Tula, tula, tula. All right, everybody.
All
Have a
right.
great one.
And Preem.
Preem.
Love.